Thank you,
Thank you.
Chair, and I appreciate the opportunity to wave on to the committee hearing today on your agenda. I really appreciate that and giving me this opportunity. Um, I'm here because there's a major issue in my district and in the state of Hawaii as it relates to water and clean water, and that is our cesspools and our very disturbing state of our water treatment facilities throughout the state of Hawaii. I think Hawaii, in many cases, can be viewed as the best example of a developed nation, which has, or one of the worst sewage disposal and contamination problems that exist that affect our freshwater supply, our streams, and our nearshore environments. And I appreciate the testimony of the testifiers today. Has a lot of great information here for me to take back to my district. In Hawaii, Chair, we have about 88,000 cesspools that still exist throughout the state. They discharge about 53 million gallons daily of raw, untreated sewage into the groundwater that ends up in our freshwater supply, our streams, our nearshore marine environments. We have AOCs from the EPA throughout Hawaii. We violate the Safe Clean Drinking Water Act, the EPA's requirement to, get rid of large capacity cesspools since 2005 that have been in existence in Hawaii. And it's a dire situation that we have. So I'm here to learn about what we can do in Hawaii to address this. And my question is to Ms. Hammer in regarding your testimony. There's a tremendous opportunity in this Congress to address America's infrastructure, including the needs of our wastewater. As I just described, Hawaii has great wastewater needs, and we lead the country in the number of cesspools that exist throughout the Hawaiian Islands. In addition, we have wastewater treatment facilities that have not been maintained, and it's facing a crisis. Can you talk a little bit about how in Hawaii we can address these problems, especially in rural communities like the 2nd Congressional District that do not have the ability to connect to sewer lines, or where local geology, like a shallow water table near coastal areas, like you mentioned earlier, make it difficult to upgrade?
Thank you for the question. Unfortunately, Hawaii is not the only place in this country where access to sanitation is a dire issue. We've also seen serious problems in tribal communities in the Southwest, as well as communities in the Black Belt of Alabama. There are technical solutions that are being developed. I would refer you to the work of Catherine Flowers, who's a true champion on this issue. In terms of policy solutions, these are the kinds of problems that we see in rural areas, low-income areas that traditionally do not have the rate base to take out a traditional clean water SRF loan that they would then have to repay. It's very difficult for them for many reasons, which is one reason why it's so important to bring more additional subsidization and grants into the SRF program, so that we don't have a two-tier sanitation system in this country where wealthy communities have functional infrastructure and small rural disadvantaged communities have cesspools that are failing. So that would be my primary recommendation, is to make sure that more grant funding is available.
Thank you. That's something I'll try and push for in this Congress. With the remaining use of my time, Ms. Colson, my congressional district comprises 8 of the main Hawaiian Islands, many, many small communities, former plantation communities. How can we make the Clean Water State Revolving Fund more flexible for small communities in my district?
Thank you for that question. I think it's important to recognize the impact of federal mandates on these small communities and in the SRFs to ensure that we can meet the needs of those small communities. And one of the aspects is technical assistance to ensure that they're able to not just get the water infrastructure funded, but also to maintain and operate it and to build the rates that they need to renew that infrastructure when it's reached its useful life.
Thank you, Chair.